Good morning, Spiritual Life Center. Welcome to the SLC Sunday Experience. We are so glad you're here. We want you to know your soul is welcome here.
That's right. You're in the right place at the right time, just where you are meant to be. Whether you're live streaming or you're here with us in person today, we're so happy that you chose to be here with us at Spiritual Life Center. And we're going to sing about it. Are you ready? Here we go. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. In the right place, I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Please join me in turning around and saying good morning to those live streaming. You're in the right place at the right time. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Yes, it is. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. Oh, my soul is welcome. Oh, my soul is welcome. My soul. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. I'm getting the message. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. Come on, everybody, put your hands together. My soul is welcome. You know your soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. We are welcome. My soul is welcome here. No matter what color, what culture, sexual orientation, political or religious affiliation, my soul is many paths. Everybody's welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome
Yes, indeed.
Every soul is welcome here.
Every soul is
Even
welcome
mine,
here.
all righty.
Yours and mine and all of theirs. All these people chatting, having a good time.
It's a happy brunch this morning.
It is. And what a beautiful bunch this morning. I see the supreme soul in you. So we want to welcome you this morning in the name of all that is good and all that is beautiful and sacred and in the brotherhood and sisterhood of oneness. And we welcome you to this community that we call Spiritual Life Center. And we know that you are never here by accident, whether you are sitting here for the first time or you are here for the 1,000th time, whether you're sitting here or live streaming, whether you've received your bindi and your Raksha bonded bracelet or you have yet to receive it. We are all united in brotherhood and sisterhood. And we are so grateful that you kept your divine appointment with us. And that divine appointment is to transform lives as we love, serve, and remember. And you're all exceptional. You're exceptional people who always remember before you come into a sanctuary to silence all of your devices, except the one exception if you want to post on social media or you want your ringtone graded, because we will do that later. So if you haven't already done so, do that now. And we do. So we have a dear soul who has left the planet, and his name was Jim Pettit. And he is a dear soul to many. He was a longtime greeter, choir member, and also in the men's group. And we will celebrate this dear man's life here on the 22nd at 2 p.m. So join us for that celebration. It is an honor to have been a friend of his, and all of you who know him know deeply. He is with us.
Yes.
Yeah. He's hanging out and he's watching. So be sure to come and celebrate him.
So let's take a moment and connect with that presence that is changeless, and know that we affirm the spirit, the soul of Jim Pettit and any others who've gone on the side of this other side of the veil to the other, to continue their assignment as to going to grow, develop, and unfold. We also bring an individual who recently passed away yesterday, John McCain, who was a servant to our country in so many ways. And we send that loving energy to his family and those that are close to him. For he's a model of the possibilities of the human spirit to make a difference in the world. And we're grateful for the opportunity to be the vessels and vehicles of pure spirit in our own unique ways, recognizing and affirming that all of us are children of the Most High, with something to provide to make this world a better place so we can create a world that works for all. So we go forward doing our part, capturing the divine and perfect spiritual ideas and making the activity of our awareness in everything we speak, all the thoughts we have, every action that we take, so that we anchor on earth the qualities of God to such a degree that we can say that when you see us individually, you see the presence that sent us. For this presence and I and all of us are one. We're grateful for the opportunity to let God be God in us as we go forth, expanding the all good. Amen.
And we want to remind you that the beautiful brothers and sisters from the Brahma Kumaris are here today to celebrate Raksha Bandhan, and that is this beautiful bracelet with the golden threads that is a beautiful symbol of our unification, our brother and sisterhood. So be sure to see them in the courtyard to receive your Raksha Bandhan bracelet and your bindi and a special treat. And we have a special treat. Brother Vinod is here all the way from Mount Abu in India, and he'll do our meditation in a little bit. So we want to welcome all of our Brahma Kumaris brothers and sisters
Yes,
this morning.
thank you. And just a reminder for anyone, anyone at the expo a couple of weeks ago, we had the Saturday event and the Sunday event. Well, we had a panel discussion on Saturday that was recorded. It's going to be on some of the cable TV stations here in California. So when more information is available to us, we'll let you know. And I had a chance to share a little bit about what Spiritual Life Center is about as
Absolutely.
the representative. And speaking of all those folks that were part of that, I want to have
I
Paula.
was there. I was definitely
Yes.
there.
In a
Good
very
morning,
important
good
way.
morning, dear ones.
Good morning.
I want to let you know about a special Wow Wednesday coming up. This is a fifth Wednesday, and we have our dear friend Renee Jenkins going to be here with us today. He travels from the Sonoma area. Renee is a vibrational sound healer. He grew up in the Unity tradition. His father was a well-known reverend in the region, Unity minister. Renee is classically trained as a musician, and somewhere along his path, he was introduced to and mentored by the shamanic traditions of South America, particularly Peru. And he was gifted with many sacred instruments, and he recognized this to be his calling, and he has expanded that to include instruments from Australia and Asia, and he will be with us for our program on Wednesday night doing a vibrational sound healing ceremony. Salad is at 6 and the program is at 7. Renee would also like to offer a few private sessions. There would be a half hour long, and he has 4 slots available, 2 before the service and 2 after the service. If you'd like to get a personal sound healing session, He's offering those at half price for this occasion. And you can see Pat Harvey at the welcome table, and there's a little sign-up sheet. And I will call you for further arrangements. Thank you.
Thank you, Paula. Looking forward to having Renee here this week.
Yes.
And also looking forward to having Teresa Campos, and she will be bringing Braving Your Shadow Through the Power of Archetypes. It's a new 3-week class that will lead you to those powerful as well as hidden aspects of yourself that can bring new and greater creativity as well as light to your life. And I believe she's going to be here in the courtyard after the service.
She is in the courtyard, and she
Okay.
was also on that panel discussion with James.
Yes.
And she's a light in this world, so be sure to sign up if you have an inclination to take that class. And speaking of classes, we have 2 teachers coming in September, Reverends Jim and Lisa Lee. Not strangers to Sacramento, but they don't live here. So what a wonderful opportunity to have 3 days with them. So they're going to be offering a program, Traveling at the Speed of Love. And we say moving and traveling because they're both action. They're both actions. And so we definitely are going to travel and move to a deeper place in the heart and that we collective consciousness. So be sure to sign up for that. He's a very, very popular teacher. He used to be local. We know we will fill up. So if you have an inclination, sign up for that early.
Now,
And
Faith in Action is coming up.
absolutely. How many of you know what Faith in Action is? Is there anybody that doesn't know what Faith in Action is? Okay, we have an annual fall book study every single year. We have a book selection. We have sign-ups for home hosts and facilitators. And that is where you open your home for a few hours each week, and you receive a small group to come in and do a weekly assignment on that book. You're going to read the book, and then you're going to do some study questions together. It's a beautiful way to deepen into community. Is that everybody's experience? Mm-hmm. So you'll want to sign up. Sign-ups for home hosts and facilitators have been carried over until September 2nd. And this year we are studying The Wisdom of the Shamans by Don Jose Ruiz. How many people remember him here last
Yes.
season? Okay.
Yeah.
He'll be with us again for a kickoff in the first week of October, and he'll do a 2-day program, a Friday and a Saturday. We're weaving him with beautiful sounds with Paula and Catherine Mandela, Dominic Garcia, and on Saturday he'll be joined by Mary Youngblood. It's a wonderful opportunity to do this small group study with the actual author of this book. So don't hesitate to sign up for that if you're ready.
And they can also register to being a home host or facilitator. Is that
We
correct?
want you to register to be a home host. Does it feel really good to have that energy in your home? Mm-hmm. Yes, and it's a 6-week program. It's a beautiful way to get connected.
Well, one of the things that we do as a community is really give a tithe to worthy organizations that are making a difference and transforming lives in our community. And we have a couple of people who are representing A Touch of Understanding, Leslie Dedora and Megan Adamski, who's going to share with us a little bit about what they do. Let's give them a warm Spiritual Life Center welcome. You can get in front of them. Yeah. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us here today, and thank you for your gifts and for your support of A Touch of Understanding. I want you to think back to grade school, and was there a child in your class who was maybe teased, left out, ostracized, bullied? I can think of that child when I was in grade school. Her name was Natalie, and she was oftentimes unkempt, didn't have excellent hygiene, and she was left out. And A Touch of Understanding addresses that. We provide a 2-part chance for students to explore what it might be like to walk a mile in the shoes of somebody with a disability. They get to use wheelchairs, walk with a white mobility cane, handle a variety of braces and artificial arms and legs, write their name in Braille, and then do a station to understand the challenges associated with learning disabilities and with autism. And students are brilliant, and they take these activities and they really translate it to accept and include and respect all forms of diversity. So we have a short video to show that really shows the impact of our program.
Thank you.
And we will be out in the courtyard after the service to answer any additional questions, sign up for newsletters, volunteer opportunities. We're always looking for volunteer opportunities. So thank you again for having us and for your support.
You're welcome. Well, thank you, Leslie and Megan, for the wonderful work that your organization is doing. And we want to acknowledge our prayer chaplains and ambassadors that are here this morning. If they would stand so we can appreciate you and acknowledge you. And the ambassadors are wearing the rainbow ribbons, and they're here to answer questions that you may have about Spiritual Life Center, direct you to places that you may have some questions about, and we appreciate their hospitality and the work that they provide. And our chaplains are doing the very important work of holding confidential prayer as we go through our life experiences. Sometimes they're up, sometimes they're down, but they hold that consciousness of that which is never changing and to help you move you through whatever you may be going through or growing through. And they're wearing the white stoles, and so we thank them for their service, and they're available to pray with you here in the sanctuary after the service or in the courtyard.
And if you are here for the first time, in just a minute, we're going to ask you to raise your hand. We're not going to make you stand, and we're not going to make you sing yet. What we want to give you is a welcome card. That welcome card is a great way to get connected here. It's a wonderful way to sign up for James' weekly email message, which I read every single week. It's got a great inspirational message, and it tells you all of our classes, all of our programs and events. It's a great way to get connected here. So fill in that card, drop it in the offering basket, or take it to the welcome table after service. We're also going to give you a chalet. And if you raise your hand now, if you're here for the first time,
Yes,
we will start passing those out.
So just keep your hand up high, and you'll get that chalet.
Yeah, and that chalet has a beautiful saying on it, and it says, "We believe we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and we are grateful that you joined us on that path today."
So we appreciate you, we bless you, we thank you. And now we have an opportunity to not only to greet those who are here for the very first time, but also to greet each other. Just meet someone and say, "It's marvelous to see you today. You look great."
And we invite you to stay standing and join us in singing our group song. As we mentioned, Faith in Action is right around the corner, and this is a Faith in Action song from 2009, written by Paula Mandela. Please join us in singing. Living my life from the inside out, moving toward my dreams, turning away all my fears and doubts. A world of lack is not what it seems. It's no secret, there's a universal truth. The life that we are living is the life that we choose. Faith is the key to the kingdom of power within me. I see it, believe it, and now I can achieve it. Love moves in me and transforms every fear into courage. I feel it, I know it, and every day I show it. Yes, I will. I'm giving way to the divine flow, attracting all I need. With grateful heart now for this I know, it's there abundantly. It's it's no miracle. It's very clear to see God can't do nothing for me that can't be done through me. I know that faith is the key to the kingdom of power within me. I see it, believe it, and now I can achieve it. Love moves in me and transforms every fear into courage. I feel it, I know it, and every day I show it. Faith is the key to the kingdom of power within me. I see it, believe it, and now I can achieve it. Love moves in me and transforms every fear into courage. I feel it, I know it, and every day I show it. Yes, I will. Faith is the key. Faith is the key. Love moves in me. Love moves in me. Faith is the key. Faith is the key. Love moves in me. Love moves in me. And please be seated.
So as most of you know, we've been working together as a community on our cue card as well as individually. And we have taken up the practice of speaking our shadow side and magnificent side together on Sundays. And so, as we do that together, we really live into these words and celebrate all sides. Shadow, magnificence. It is all one beautiful lesson and way to grow. Please have compassion for us when we are being not enough, distrusting, grieving, blaming, powerless, fearful, because this is who we have come here to be, inspired, in integrity, joy-filled, compassionate, unstoppable, generous, and transformational. Let's just breathe all of that in. And now let's speak together our vision statement. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions. Weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom, we cultivate spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet. And now, as we prepare for meditation, let's sing this beautiful chant, Joy and Peace in My Heart.
Please join us in singing. Joy and peace in my heart, always I feel. Joy and peace in my mind, God within revealed. Joy and peace in my life, I am healed. Joy and peace in my heart, always I feel. Joy and peace in my mind, God within revealed. Joy and peace in my life, I am healed. Joy and peace, joy and peace in my heart, always I
peaceful soul. Now we will do meditation. Now relax your whole body. Your feet are relaxed. Your legs are relaxed. You will feel very light. When I say relaxed, so you will feel whole body. It starts with feet, it is relaxed. Your legs, upper legs, thigh are relaxed. Your hand, your arm, upper arm is relaxed. Your heart is full of love. Your lungs full of peace. Your brain is full of knowledge. Like that, now all the organs of your body are relaxed. Now your face is full of purity. Your eyes are pure. Your ears hear only good, pure songs, pure conversation. Now bring your soul into the center of the forehead, the shining point of a star sitting into the center of the forehead. Slowly, slowly bring your soul to the soul world where your Father, the Supreme Father, lives and all the souls lives. So bring the soul there and sit there, and you will see all the powers are coming to your soul. Now I will keep a moment of silence and feel the presence of God in your soul, in soul world. I will give you a moment of silence and take your soul to the soul world. Now you experience the peace. The peace is our religion. Peace is our soul. The soul lives in the center of the forehead and gives all the power to the body. One doctor, Satish Gupta, he's in India. He cured more than 8,000 human patients who have heart problems. By meditation, he cured the artery which were blocked 100%, 98%. All the artery are cleaned by meditation. So meditation is very powerful. The diabetes, blood pressure, and all the major, even the cancer were cured by meditation. So this is very powerful. You can go to his website also and find out how your physical ailments is cured by meditation. So meditation is very powerful. Now, there are 7 qualities of the soul: the knowledge, purity, peace, happiness, love, blessing, and power. So these 7 qualities belong to 7 organs of the body. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. And thank you for tying Rakhi today, which is the protection from God in all the problems which you face in the life. So if you tie Rakhi and connect your soul to the God, you will find all the protection. And Rakhi means the brother protects the sister when there is some problem comes in the life. So this is very big bondage of purity and protection. And the tilak which sisters gave you, that means we are soul conscious. The body is nothing. Body is made of 5 elements. But the soul, which resides in the center of the forehead near thalamus gland, is the power which runs the body. So this consciousness of I, the soul, this tilak was given. And the protection of the being is tying the Rakhi, and the blessing you got, and the dry fruit, the prasad is given to you. And thank you for giving me time. Om Shanti. We will chant 1 minute. Take deep breath. Take deep breath. Take deep breath. Om means I am soul and Shanti means peace. Shanti, say everybody Shanti. 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 And peace on you. Thank you.
Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, your pardon, Lord. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there's despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, ever joy. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Lord, make me an instrument of peace. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Lord, make me an instrument of peace. Oh, divine Master, source of life in all, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to be loved. For it is in giving that we receive. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Lord, make me an instrument of peace. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Lord, make me an instrument of peace. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned, Lord. It is in dying that we are born to eternal Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Lord, make me an instrument of peace. Lord,
Oh, the Second Slice, that is their name of this group. Second Slice. We had the Slice Girls, now we have the Second Slice. It's all good. Oh. Well, the song they were singing is really what we're basing this series on, the prayer of St. Francis, basically known as make me an instrument of your peace. And we were relating to a book by Eknath Easwaran, who's an Indian-born teacher and as well as an expert in the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads. And before he came to the United States, he was looking for something to meditate on from the West that would go along with his philosophy. And he looked many places, and eventually he ran across that prayer. And he says in his book that that prayer, that make me an instrument, really is a blueprint for making our lives a blessing for everyone. So today we're exploring the line in the prayer that says, where there is doubt, faith. And as I was thinking about that, I ran across a story about a double-blind study for antidepressants, an antidepressant drug. And there was a gentleman who was part of this study, and he was not the one who was taking the actual drug, but he was the one taking the placebo, the sugar pill. And he had gone through a very depressing moment, and he wanted to take his life, and so he ended up taking 26 of the pills. And what had happened is that they rushed him to the hospital. You know, he was on the verge of actual death. They had to put IVs in his arm. And it took 4 or 5 doctors to tell him that he had actually not taken the pills, but he had actually been taking just some of the sugar. And once he found out, then he started stabilizing, started coming back to himself. But it reminds me that he had put his faith, he put his belief in something, and as a result, that became his experience. You know, in the Hebrew Bible, there's a statement in 11:1 that says, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, said something to the effect that it's the perceiving power of mind linked with the ability to shape substance. And what he was saying is that we have the ability to shape the invisible through our faith faculty. And faith has nothing to do with how things look like right now. I don't know if you ever run into someone that you would think that, well, I wish I had their faith. They have so much faith. But the fact of the matter is that no one has any more or less faith than anyone else. We all have the same amount of faith. The question is, where are we directing our faith energy? Where are directing our faith faculty? You know, I think there was a study that said that one of the main things that would be helpful for back pain was acupuncture. And then the second most effective thing was fake acupuncture. If somebody thought they were getting acupuncture, they got better because they believed in it. They gave their faith energy to it. And of course, I'm not saying that if you need to take acupuncture, don't do it. If you need to take medication prescribed by the doctor, don't. I don't want anybody to say here, James said, don't take any acupuncture. No, please. I'm not saying that at all. But it's a reminder of the power of where we focus our attention, where we focus our faith. That's why it is said that seeing is not believing, but believing is seeing. Or as Jesus said in a summary of what I think all of his teaching was when it came to this subject, it is done unto you as you believe. Those 9 words really sum up the essence of the teaching. And so today I thought I'd look at a Bible story to deepen our understanding of faith, or at least look at it from this perspective. And the reason I bring this up that I had spoken to someone a while back, and they were somewhat, how many words? 8? It is done unto you as you believe. Okay. If you don't remember anything else, you remember that. It is done unto us as we believe. So I look at this story in the Bible. You know, the reason I brought this up is that I talked to some people from time to time, and I wasn't even aware that, folks, some people are really afraid of the Bible because there's a lot of violence in there. There's a lot of, contradictory ideas. There's things that are upsetting that, if you read it, you kind of feel bad about yourself based upon some words. And then we come to the realization, of course, that the Bible was never meant to be a literal historical document. That many of the people who wrote the Bible, they were poets. They were trying to tell us something about us. And that one of the great contributions I think Unity makes to Bible study was its metaphysical interpretation, its symbolic interpretation, which reminds us that all of the people, the places, the things, the events really are telling us something that is going on within us. And it's talking about the evolution of our awareness, the evolution of our consciousness. So really, the stories are telling us what we're going through, what's happening within us internally. And so I thought I'd just share a story in just a portion of it and elaborate on it when it talks about the faith faculty. And I have my electronic Bible here. And it says in this Matthew, the 9th chapter, 20th and 22nd verse. And it said, then suddenly a woman who had been suffering from hemorrhages for 12 years came up behind him and touched the fringe of his cloak. For she said to herself, if I only touch his cloak, I will be made well. And Jesus turned and seeing her, he said, take heart, daughter, your faith has made you well. And instantly the woman was made well. And in that story, if you read the whole thing, it's talking about a woman who had been hemorrhaging for 12 years. And as I just read, she said to herself, if I could only touch the hem of his garment, I'll be well. Because she had heard about this person named Jesus. She had heard about this energy called the Christ. She had heard about the healings that have been taking place. She had heard about this kingdom of God awareness. And 12 years she had been suffering from this issue. She had gone to a lot of doctors and tried to get help, and she went to a lot of healing modalities. But nothing seemed to work. And so she thought to herself, if I could only touch the hem of this person's garment, I will be healed. And so this brings us to the story, a particular lesson in faith. Because she began with a belief. She had a belief that if she could touch the realm, if she could touch this presence, if she could touch that vibration, she would be okay. Now, belief is a starting point. It's a beginning point. It's where we begin. But it's not everything. But that's where we start. Because we think about it's done unto you as you believe, and he was speaking about the law of mind action when Jesus was talking, the law of mind action, reminding us that whatever we believe in consciously or unconsciously becomes our experience. Becomes our experience. But there's something beyond experience, and that's called reality with a big R. Something that's changeless. And if we begin to put our faith in that, then something will happen to us beyond what we could imagine. Our belief cannot change what's real and changeless. You know, the truth about us is that we are all expressions of God, that we're all loved by God. Now, somewhere along the line, we may have believed less, we may have accepted less, but it does not change the reality of who we are. You know, I shared a story about, someone had gone to a doctor and he prescribed, some special laxative, and the person said to the doctor, I don't believe in laxatives. And the doctor said, you don't have to believe in it, all you have to do is take it. All you have to do is take it. So our belief cannot change the ultimate reality. I know I got a weird sense of humor. But it's only our focal point, our interpretation and experience of reality, but this belief is where we begin the process. So she believed. But it also says in the story that she pushed her way through the crowds. So she pushed her way through the multitudes. She began to do something. She began to act, to move in the direction of her belief. And sometimes in our own life, we have to push through our crowded minds at times. Because sometimes our minds are filled with doubt and fear and cynicism and judgment and unforgiveness, maybe even resentment. And all those things may be crowding on us. So sometimes we have to push through even other people's beliefs that are bombarding us around us when we begin to focus our faith energy toward our goal. When we begin to step out on a vision, begin to step on something new, some people will begin to show up and they'll say, let's be realistic. And of course, what they're saying in code, let's be negative. Let me tell you why this is not going to work. And they give you a list, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And sometimes those thoughts are simply the committee in our own minds. That committee shows up, you start trying to do something different, new, and expand out there. And some voice will say to us, who do you think you are? We have to denounce them. We have to release them. We have to let them go. By believing, first of all, that we're made in the image and likeness and not of God. Sometimes we have to remember to invoke our identity clause. And I think the master teacher gave us our identity clause when he said, ye are the light. And when we begin to take that in and embody it, then we have to begin to push through those thoughts that come up from the committee or anyone else for that matter. We have to practice our practice. Now, it's easy when things are going well. You get up in the morning, feeling good, body not creaking, feeling like really good. Walk outside, get in your car, no traffic on the street, all the lights are green. Oh man, you just gonna kick it. Everything's working so well. And then, of course, there's the challenges and the tests that come up, the crises that happen. 'Cause like I said, when things are going well, we may be slapping five with each other. Man, life is good. God is good. But then we run into that one individual that kind of distracts us from that realization. And all of a sudden, you say, oh, man, this thing is not working. Resistance begins to come up. I may be just talking to myself, but anyway. Purification happens when you begin to move from one level to another level, then everything unlike it begins to show up. It's almost like, you get ready to say, well, I'm going to really eat clean. First day you start that, somebody brings you a big piece of chocolate cake. That's my weakness. As soon as I start, it shows up. Got to keep walking really fast. Maria Namath, who's been here a few times and has done a lot of work, she called that trouble at the border. When you're trying to get through to the other side, that begins to show up. So that trouble at the border comes up. We have to go back and speak to ourselves and speak to that committee. Because the committee will come and say, uh-oh, there she is. She's reading again, that spiritual stuff. Okay, she's going to that spiritual life center again. Listen to that music and that tape again. Oh, those are the people, they believe that peace can happen on the planet. They believe that we can eliminate violence in our world. They somehow believe that the political system can actually work. Well, yes, we do when we begin to put our faith in the possibilities of the human spirit. But the negative stuff will come up. We only get new results in our life when we begin to do things differently. We must practice a new way of being, a new way of seeing. We have to redirect our faith energy away from the distractions according to what we really want. Sometimes it's when we have to begin to affirm those things that we speak about when the challenges come up. We have to say, yes, I am a child of God. Yes, all I need is within me. Yes, it's God's good pleasure to give me the kingdom. Yes, it is my good pleasure to express the light of God in this world. We have to say that to ourselves, sometimes just very firmly. We must practice the good that we know. We must practice our practice. And I think we go back to the story, that's what she did. She not only redirected her faith energy, she acted on it. She pushed through the multitude. She pushed through that negative committee. Her beliefs led her to do something, to act on her belief, to act from her belief. Sometimes we may say we believe in something, and sometimes it just stays there as a belief. But our actions don't necessarily articulate that belief. In the old school, we call that hypocrisy. We might say, I believe in forgiveness. I believe in love. I believe in God. I believe in generosity. We may say all of that stuff. But sometimes our actions are not congruent with what we say we believe. And we may wonder why our experience is coming up in a way that we don't want. Maybe because we haven't pushed through the crowded streets of our mind. We have not pushed through the dangling cords of opinions around us. We have simply stopped at a level of believing something. But in the story, the woman pushed through. It says that she reached out and touched the hem of his garment. And in the story, it said Jesus is to have said, someone touched me. I felt the energy move through me. And he turned to the woman and he said, daughter, it was your faith that made you whole. It was your faith that did this. You may have thought it was merely touching me, but many other people have been touching me in this crowded place. They've been swarming and listening and, getting me in this crowded place, rubbing against me. But your faith, your belief has made you whole. And in that moment, she was healed. She had contact with the Spirit. She had, as I mentioned earlier, a real contact high. Some of you understand what I'm talking about. I wasn't always on the ministerial path. She touched that realm. It means for us today, our real work is to make contact with that spiritual realm, that spiritual quality, the essence of life, that dynamic goodness, that place within us that is the presence of God. That means that we have to examine our own awareness, see where we've gotten off track. And that's why meditation, among other things, is so important. It's not only good for our health and well-being and peace of mind, but we can begin to observe, we can begin to discern where those crazy thoughts are coming up and begin to release them so we can connect to the divine ideas that are changeless. In fact, I think the highest and best way to direct our faith faculty is to focus on the presence of God. Someone reminded me that if this presence can spit out galaxies and stars and keep the planets in their orbits, it can solve all little problems. We never go to God and say, God, I got some big problems. No, we go to our problems and say, I got a big God, and we focus on that. But the key is not to focus on the added things. We hear that statement that, seek ye first the kingdom of God and all other things will be added unto you. But oftentimes we bypass the connection and try to go to the thing. We make that the thing rather than the connection with the challenge of the kingdom of God within us. So we have to challenge ourselves. Sometimes we have to use our faith faculty sometimes we try to use it to get this presence that we call God to do something for us. We have to look and see where we can get God to do certain things for us that we think is important. And we bypass the main way that we should be focusing our energy and faculty of faith by simply making that connection. There's a story of Ralph Waldo Emerson who learned this same lesson. During many years, he was bedridden. He had tuberculosis, and during that time, it was something very serious. Because he was a person that had written a lot of books, and he gave a lot of great lectures, and he talked about the presence of God. And all the healers of his day were challenging him to heal himself, to heal of his tuberculosis. And he was praying, and he was affirming, and he was visualizing. And many dignitaries came to visit him, giving him all kinds of advice. And finally, he got fed up because he realized he had slipped into wanting to heal the tuberculosis more than he wanted conscious contact with this presence called God. When challenged with something, when there's something that's going on, that we're working on, that seems to be wonderful or beautiful, we may want that healing or order in our life, all these great things. But what Emerson realized, that the instant he wanted the healing before his primary connection with God, that he began to lose what the true power was. But the moment he remembered that his connection with God was more important, it came to him in a blinding insight that he wanted God more than anything. He wanted contact more than anything. He wanted to touch the hem of the garment more than anything. And in that moment, his tuberculosis began to dissolve and dissipate, and he was healed in that hour. Although it took a few months for it to totally happen to his body, when he made that contact, when he touched that realm, he was made whole. So we must remind ourselves continually that what we really, really, really want is that dynamic contact. We want to use our faith energy to focus on that. And in that instant, like a small candle in a dark room, small candle can be a big light in a dark room. And when what appears to the surface mind to be a glimmer of contact, in that instant, when we make that contact, wholeness begins to reveal itself. Love begins to reveal itself. Understanding begins to reveal itself. Wisdom begins to reveal itself. Peace begins to reveal itself. You know, as we examine that woman who was hemorrhaging for those 12 years, we remember that she represents something going on within us. So we may be going through our own stuff. It may have been going on for a long time. We may have been getting opinions from other people outside of us. In our case, it may be a circumstance that's legal. It may be a medical circumstance. It may be a personal relationship circumstance. It may be something in our society that we're getting caught up in, and they're telling us who we're not, what we can be, what we can have, what we can do. They may be hearing those things that said, you're too old, too young, don't have enough education, got too much education. You got too little money, got too much money. Of course, as I said earlier, that's impossible. I've never run anybody into too much money. If you have that problem, please come see Elaine or somebody at the Board of Trustees. We can take that problem off your hands right now. But right now, we come into a belief. If we could only touch the realm, the him, touch that Christ consciousness, based on a belief that that is what's real and changeless and where all the power is. We're reminded that's what that woman did. She pushed through the crowd. She aligned her action with her belief. She wasn't giving up. She doesn't care about the prognosis. She did not care how long she had suffered. She doesn't care about her personal history. She doesn't care about what others may have said about her. She pushed through anyway. And she reached out with her consciousness and she made contact. She thought it was because she touched the hem. But as Jesus reminded her, it was her faith that made her whole, that she had a dynamic knowing, an active presence. In that hour, she was healed because she connected. I remember one of my classmates in ministerial school, when we were there for the first week, they asked us, kind of what our journey was, how we got there. And, one of my classmates was talking about when she was on her deathbed. And she was on the verge of making her transition, and she was doing all kinds of things to heal. And then all of a sudden, she decided what she would do. She simply would let go and let God. And she put her faith faculty in that. And shortly after that, she kind of released all of the tubes that were in her and walked out of the hospital. It changed her whole perspective, and she became a really great minister. That's what the promise of the kingdom is. Seek ye first the kingdom, all its righteousness, and all things will be added. And when we do that, we have the purity of heart. And only the pure in heart shall begin to see the presence of God. Purity means one direction, single-minded, focused. We're not confused. There are not a lot of things there. When we say something is pure silk, it does not have any polyester in it. It's 100% silk. And so it's reminding us those who are pure in heart, like Emerson, like that woman in that story, they want one thing, the power and the presence and the love of God. When we have that and we have things happen for us, people will say, oh, you look so good. Oh, you look so successful. Your body healed itself. And you will say, oh, that happened when I touched the realm. When I used my faith faculty to develop God awareness, God consciousness, more than anything else. I wanted that one thing. And those other things were added. And seemingly God turned my life around. But it happened the moment we made contact with that presence. So it's in that vibration we want to let our light shine. So that those that see us, they know what we're about. That those that see us know that we are an instrument of the Spirit that St. Francis talked about. That the Second Slice sung about. That people come around us, that committee, they cannot even approach us with any negativity. Because when they show up, we say there's no vacancy here. They can come, but they have no way of getting in. So let's embody that line from the St. Francis prayer. Where there is doubt, let there be faith. Faith in the power, in the presence, and the love of God. And it doesn't get any better than that. Peace and blessings to you. And next week, we're going to continue on, Make Me an Instrument, to focus on pardon. Continuing on with Eknok Eswaran's book, Love Never Faileth. And so we'll just continue the journey, because this is always a continuous process. I always say that, when we come to places like this, workshops, seminars, read a book, it's not like we did it and it's done. We got to keep going, keep evolving. And so with that awareness, we'll continue the journey. And so at this moment, we get in tune with the principle of pure spirit, the principle of giving, knowing that not only are we supporting this community for those who are looking to really evolve their awareness and their consciousness, but we also take a portion of that to support wonderful programs in our community to help transform this community, ultimately our world. So with that awareness and that consciousness, let us say our offertory blessing together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
Inside my head there lives a dream that I wanna see in the sun. Behind my eyes there lives a me that I've been hiding for much too long. 'Cause I've been too afraid to let it show. 'Cause I'm scared of the judgment that may follow. Always putting off my living for tomorrow. I gotta step out on faith. I gotta show my faith. It's been elusive for so long, but freedom is mine today. Gotta step out on faith. I gotta show my faith. Procrastination had me down. Just look what I have found. I found strength, courage, and wisdom. It's been inside of me all along. Strength, courage, and wisdom inside of me. Behind my pride there lives a me that knows humility. Inside my voice there is a soul, and in my soul there is a voice. But I've been too afraid to make a choice, 'cause I'm scared of the things that I might be missing. Running too fast to stop to listen. It's time to step out on faith. I gotta show my faith. It's been elusive for so long, but freedom is mine today. Gotta step out on faith. I gotta show my faith. Procrastination had me down. Just look what I have found. I found strength, courage, and wisdom. It's been inside of me all along. Strength, courage, and wisdom inside of me. Oh, yeah. I close my eyes and I think of all the things that I want to see. 'Cause I know now that I opened up my heart, I know that anything I want can be. So let it 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 be. Strength, courage, and wisdom, it's been inside of me all along. Come on, help me sing it. Strength, courage, and wisdom, you know that it's inside of you. It's been there all along. Yeah. Strength, courage, and wisdom, inside, always inside, all along. Strength, courage, and wisdom, inside of me. I found it in me. I found it finally. I found it. Say thank you, 'cause I found it. I found it. Oh, it's always been inside. It always lives inside. It's in you. It's in me. It's in us. I found it. 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 I found it.
Faith, Courage, and Wisdom by Indy Ari. She's a very good friend of Unity. I think they did an article in Unity magazine about her. Yes. So she's really good. What's that? We want to hear? Okay. Okay, let's hold that faith faculty in seeing her here. Well, we bless the tithes and offerings, knowing they're going to bless the givers and receivers as we go forth, utilizing our faith faculty to connect with the presence of God, knowing that everything else will be added unto us in our life and in our world. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. And with that, let us join in together as we sing our peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it
Taking and embodying those